pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good afternoon, everybody. We'll start off with our introductions. To my left, I have Sapphire Rhodes, our Assistant General Manager. I'm Jerry Lupo, your General Manager. The board, to my right, is Lynn Tavernetti, Board President. Jeannie Czar, Board Vice President. Jerry Monahan, Board Director. Fred Wecht, Board Secretary. And Claudine Diaz, Board CFO. We also have Cindy Graves, our Activities Director. Tad Creasy, First Service Regional Manager, and Nellie Awesome is in the back. Okay, so we're going to start with our announcements, and just a couple of announcements. In the breeze, a number of you did actually read what I wrote, and I thank you so much for doing that. We had an overwhelming response of homeowners coming in and registering their vehicles and picking up their parking decals. I still encourage you to talk to your neighbors and make sure they are registering the vehicles. I had a resident tell me that they did a site review and he noted there were 51 vehicles in the parking lot without a parking decal. So we still have a lot of work to do. Also, we are going to start updating our resident information forms. A lot of you, when you first moved in here, you told us who your emergency contact was, some emails and some phone numbers so we could reach you. We've had a couple of situations in the last month where we tried to reach the resident for an illegally parked car or an emergency situation, and the forms were not up to date. So we're going to be assigning a couple of our lodge attendants to call during the day and sometimes at night for those residents that work and review the information to make sure we are up to date. And last announcement is on October 4th, here in the ballroom at 6 p.m., we will have the Association's Legal Counsel present to review the governing document amendments for the purpose of eliminating the district delegate system, voting system, as well as cumulative voting. The last week of September, we'll start mailing out the packets for homeowners to vote. And we want to make sure that you get all your questions answered because I'm sure it can get quite confusing and we want to make sure you know which way you want to vote. Jerry, I believe you had an announcement.
Yes, I just have one short announcement. We're having a committee membership drive on Wednesday, September 20th, here in the ballroom from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. All the committees will have tables, and we'll be here to answer any questions for anybody who's interested in being part of any one of our committees. We're going to have pizzas like we've had in the past, and door prizes. There'll be 4 or 5 door prizes for the people who attend, and we hope that if you have time, you'll take that time and come and ask the questions and maybe join us on the committees. Thank you.
All right, that was the last of the announcements. We'll move forward with our homeowner input. And as a reminder, please silence your cell phones so those that speak are uninterrupted. Homeowner input is limited to 3 minutes per homeowner, and only 1 request to speak form may be submitted per homeowner. There will be no sharing or passing of time to another person. Homeowner input may be held for a maximum period of 30 minutes before the board meeting begins to allow the board to proceed with the business portion of the meeting. This portion of the meeting is limited to board participation only. Residents are welcome and encouraged to stay for the full meeting to witness the business of the corporation taking place by your governing agents. Cindy, did you want to give instructions on how to speak into the microphone?
Speak into the microphone. And you may move it up and down at the same time. Whatever's convenient for your mouth.
My name's Roberta Hoka. I live on Kettle Creek. I've been there almost 12 years now. I have a question for the board regarding the salon. And my question is, have any of the board members had association or done business with the proposed new management? And if so, have they recused themselves from voting on this change in the contract and on the leadership and contract for the salon?
None of us have.
None of you have the new proposed owner has not, you've not been associated with them in a professional or social way?
No.
Actually, no one has proposed the change. They've offered to take over, but none of us have had any interaction, professional or social, with that individual or that organization.
Okay, will there be a discussion today regarding the salon?
As far as the salon goes, we are still reviewing the survey results. And once we completed a review of the survey results, because there's a lot of information that Martha's group gathered, we'll proceed to take the next step.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, our next speaker is Marty Key.
Get some steps in. Hi, I'm Marty Key, and I live up on Blowing Rock. And I'm here to talk to you about converting the old tennis courts into pickleball courts. And I came here about 5 years ago, and with my girlfriend, we would play tennis, and we went over to Sun Lakes and played pickleball, and went, oh my God, we love it. So we came back and we said, where can we play? So we started playing on the paddle tennis courts, just singles, the two of us, and then more people asked about it, more, and we got about 6 people, and we were playing, and then we got more people. So we eventually kind of started sharing the paddle tennis courts to play pickleball. And we got 2 portable nets and painted some lines, and that was so nice of the paddle tennis people to let us infringe on their time and their courts. So they were kind of the only ones who cared about us. So we have been playing now for 5 years. We have 75 plus people, the largest group here at Four Seasons, and we're growing and growing every week. So we need space. We have always felt kind of left out. We've noticed that we've seen the new tennis courts, bocce ball, horseshoe, shuffleboard, new pool tables, ping pong, all these great facilities, and we couldn't even get a sign put up for 5 years that we were there. So we're tired of being pushed aside, and we can no longer share the 2 courts with the 50-some paddle tennis people who have been, again, so nice to us that we've been very patient, we feel, and now we think that since the other courts have become available, and it was kind of agreed upon with tennis and paddle tennis and us, that we would have those when we didn't have a court built at the courts. So it's time to approve this conversion, and will all my fellow pickleballers that are here stand up and show your agreement? This is just so you can see we infiltrate everywhere. And I thank you for your time. Please think of this deeply because it matters in our hearts. And you'll get more home buyers too.
Our next speaker is Ray Winhorn.
It's marijuana. I'll clean up any mess here that I make.
begin by once again congratulating and thanking Sapphire for the improvements that we've seen in the chemical. Can anybody hear me here or not?
No. Yes.
All right.
Take it out.
The-
Right.
The pool, I use the pool in the jacuzzi a lot, and I have noticed a difference in the pool out here. I don't itch and scratch and have to put some kind of salve on me to keep on being able to use that. And I can really notice the improvement, and I know that Steve, the pool guy, has put in a lot of time and trying to educate himself on how this is all done, and there's a lot of other people, I'm sure, that work with you on that, but it really is a giant improvement, and I hope that we see the same results at the indoor pool up there soon. My main reason for coming is to talk about landscape service. We all know that they've had a problem with the contractors and people that, or I guess they're trying to hire to take care of our large facility here as we continue to grow. And just wanted to bring a few things to our attention. First of all, there's something I wanted to show as a part of my show and tell here. This says TUIT, and it's round, right? Okay, I'll leave that there for a minute. But on the, anybody walks them as much as I do around here, you see a weed here and a weed there, and something's not trimmed or whatever. So I'd just like to show a few things that I've done to try to help the situation. First of all, sitting in a jacuzzi back there for almost every day for a long time, you turn around and you look at this thing growing. This thing here, and I thought yesterday I thought it was time to harvest a crop before all those seeds fell off and started more plants like that. And I didn't think it was appropriate for that thing to be here, but and then walking around, especially the Four Seasons, is so beautiful. But just walking up to the mailbox, I have trouble sometimes. Maybe I'm a little taller than some people, but this thing was always hanging down and hit me in the face. So I decided, well, if the landscapers can't get around to that, why, I'll see what I can do. So I've got a couple of tools here that I carry with me. And all you have to do is take something like this and if it hits you in the face, you can trim it off. It's not a big deal. And this thing kind of sticking out over the sidewalk up there by the mailboxes too. They're sticking up in the air like that. Yeah, it's very, very simple. Now, I'm only going to handle things like that. I'm not going to scoot down and get those ones that are down there because I'm too old and too tall to do that. But I would recommend that when when Jeff and his weekly guys go around as a landscape, they put a couple of these in their pockets instead of just standing there folding their arms with their pretty outfits on. Maybe they could do a little something while they're at it instead of looking at it. Because currently we don't have enough landscape people to take care of everything on a regular basis.
Ray, we need to wrap up.
Time's up.
Okay. Anyway, that's my message, folks. And I hope that sooner or later we get enough volunteers, just like they did in Florida and Texas, to take care of the situation.
Thank you, Ray.
Thank you, Ray.
Our next speaker is Donna Lewis.
Hi, I'm Donna Lewis, and I don't know about everybody here, but I'm loving the weather today. Get to finally turn off the air conditioning. Anyway, I just wanted to give a neighborhood watch update. We had our regular monthly meeting yesterday, and we had 113 residents in attendance. So pretty big turnout. So Anita put this together for us, and obviously she did a good job because it got people coming out. So anyway, we had Richard Horner, the fire marshal, out here. We have many residents who are concerned about our conservation area and some of our other areas and the way they are kept or haven't been kept up recently. So a lot of them were able to express their concerns. I don't know how many of them were satisfied with the answers they got. I'm sure there's still more work we can do with that around here, but it was very obvious that there are some concerns. I'm not sure whether it's a fire hazard or not, but there are concerns with landscaping around here, as we just saw. The Beaumont PD was here, and they did a great presentation as well on some of the residents that live on the south side are concerned about all the shooting and the motorcycles out there, and they wanted to assure us that they're working on that. There's a lot of agencies, Banning PD, Riverside County Sheriff, as well as BLM and Fish and Game and Metropolitan Water District out there. So they are, it's going to take them a while, but they are working out there. They're flying a drone out there every once in a while to see what kind of activity is going on and everything. So we look forward to hopefully that side of the community becoming more secure and a little more comfortable for those who have fire concerns on the south side, which is really the wildlife area, the dry area, the area that we've seen. We had 4 fires between May and June. So it really is a concern out there. And they also recommended that we be careful with our garage sale coming up. Make sure you're not inviting people into your homes for that. You may even want to put all your stuff in the driveway as opposed to having people in your garage and have your garage open. If on garage sale day, if you're not having a garage sale, make sure you're not leaving your garage doors open so that people can't see in there. Make sure that your money boxes are also secure or money's in your pocket so that people aren't walking away. Because we will have people from outside the community coming in. October 11th will be our next meeting. That will be in the evening at 5:30. We've been putting our National Night Out off due to the construction here, but we're going to have it. So that'll be a potluck starting at 5:30, presentation at 6. We'll have all the surrounding authorities, the PD, CHP, probably Riverside County Sheriff, maybe the mayor. Anyway, we have all kinds of people that we've invited. It is a potluck, so if you want to bring an entree or side dish, and the desserts will be provided by the Neighborhood Watch. And we also have a block captain meeting coming up. This meeting is going to be for block captains only, or if you are interested in being a block captain. So we're going to have that on September 25th at 10 a.m. here in the ballroom. And it's basically going to be reconnecting with our block captains and going over, things here and what we need to be doing as block captains. So that will be Monday, September 25th at 10 a.m. We'll have coffee available, and I'm even thinking about making some cookies or something. So hope that we can get as many block captains as can make it at that meeting.
Thank you, Donna. Okay, our next speaker is Ed Pauls.
I'm Ed Pauls, and Barbara and I have been in the community for 2 years. I was having lunch in the bistro with a couple of the guys a week ago, and the conversation came up. One guy said to me, he said, I'm worried if the public events go the way I think they're going. I think we're going to have civil insurrection or civil war, but I've never discussed it with anybody. One of the other guys at the table said he agreed he had never discussed it with anybody. And so I decided, okay, I'd come back. I'm interested in exploring whether there's enough interest in the community to have a politics, economics, and financial markets discussion group. I've done this twice before, but not in this community. We would do it within the framework of what's the history that led up to the 2008 financial crisis, what happened in the 2008 financial crisis, what has happened since, and where are we now? The first session, if I'm the leader, would be to look at the historic profile of those governments that have risen and fallen, and where do we stand against the profile. So if you know of, or if you are a thoughtful news junkie, I invite you to see the sign-up sheet out there in the hallway. I've done this twice before. I've got 2,300 news articles on file electronically. I've done 30 books with extensive note-taking, so I've got plenty of reference. And so I'm looking for people who think before they speak and would like to participate in a thoughtful discussion group. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed. Our next speaker is Vivian Samuel.
Vivian Samuel, Brush Creek. We've been here about 12 years.
We did have our neighborhood watch meeting Wednesday, had a great turnout, and part of the reason for that is because of our speaker, which was to do with, I guess it's up for opinions, but anyway, we do have a big concern in here over fire hazards. There's some people that were at that meeting that live on Green Creek, which is definitely an area that I see all the time, and there's a lot of dead stuff back there. I have a concern if somebody's walking on these walking trails and flips a lit match or cigarette out there, that we're gonna have a fire in here. They are addressing the pine trees and the eucalyptus as being some of the worst. We have pine trees in here that are phenomenal sizes now. They are now to the degree that a lot of them are even touching the next tree from them. There was discussion here to do with some of the people in front of me had researched this, whatever, and didn't necessarily agree with what the gentleman said that was giving the presentation. He said to us point blank, he does not feel that there's a fire hazard in here. So based on that, I'm not sure how much help he's going to be to us. I would like to recommend that we put some people together as a committee and research this, because these trees are not going away, and according to him, when they were planted according to Beaumont or whoever's code they have to adhere to. But these things are monsters now. Some of these things are 30 and 40 feet tall. And they said, and I don't know, but they said that the pine trees will explode if they're burning in a fire. They actually will explode. So I have a real concern with this. The other thing I mentioned at this meeting is when you sell a resale home in here, you have to provide the buyer with a natural hazard report. And that report is done by a company that specializes in this. They'll tell you, are you by earthquake faults, are you by a flood area, whatever. I've got a report here that I will leave for you guys. You can take a look at this. This is actually coming from the area. If you go up to the summit and go past there, on the right is Plymouth Rock, and you turn up in that area. This is from that area. You probably can't see it from there, but the darker area that's marked here, it's all done in a pattern, and it tells you what it is. Darker area is very high fire hazard severity zone that is done by a professional company. So I have a concern in here. I mean, we've been here 12 years, and I've seen real pretty things planted that look great when they're planted, and now they're just a mass of kindling in here if we have a fire. So again, I think it would behoove us to put some kind of a group together that we can do our own research, because the gentleman yesterday didn't give me the impression that he thinks there's a problem in here. My opinion.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vivian. Our next speaker is Patrick Garrity.
Good afternoon. Patrick Garrity, Slippery Rock. I'm speaking today on the Safety Committee's proposal for crosswalks. I'm wearing two hats today, but I'm going to stay within my 3 minutes. First of all, I'm representing the dog owners group, and we have in excess of 200 members in our group, and I think that we are the largest, if not one of the largest groups here. I just want to express that the dog owners group supports the proposal by the Safety Committee, and we would just add that we feel there should be, it's not clear to me, that there should be stop signs at every crosswalk in order to reinforce that people are crossing at that location. I'm going to take off that hat and now put on my Slippery Rock hat. I live on Slippery Rock, and one of the proposals for crosswalks is at Slippery Rock and Four Seasons Circle. Slippery Rock exits on the inside of the apex of a relatively sharp curve in Four Seasons Circle. That means the road curves around behind us on the right and on the left. As we exit Slippery Rock, on the right-hand side, about 50 feet down the road, down Slippery Rock Creek, is a box of electrical equipment which is about 5 feet tall and about 5 feet square. And it is impossible to see to the right traffic coming. I think according to the traffic survey, that the average speed there in that location is in excess of 40 miles an hour. We have to pull halfway into Slippery Rock before we can see past that, I think it's an electric box, to see if there's cars coming from the right. So I'm requesting that there be a four-way stop at Slippery Rock, Trout Run, and the Four Seasons Circle in order to make that take care of a situation that is a real safety hazard. Thank you.
Thank you, Patty.
That was the last speaker form I received. Thank you all included items. If for a particular reason an item needs to be discussed or pulled from the consent calendar, then a call to remove that item should be made by a board member. On the consent calendar for approval is the minutes of the August 10th meeting, August 21st board and committee chair meeting, July 2017 financial statements, the CD and investment plan, analysis request, and there is one lien, account number BE 6310-1039-01 in the amount of $1,128 for regulation.
I make a motion that we approve the consent calendar.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the consent calendar. All in favor? Motion carries.
All right, next item is the report on executive session or action taken between meetings. The board did meet this morning at 9 a.m. During that meeting, they had 20 hearings for delinquent accounts. They had 9 enforcement hearings, and they had 3 requests to meet with homeowners. They also renewed the firewall maintenance contract in the amount of $1,250. Legal issues, they reviewed correspondence with no action, and there was no personnel actions taken. So we'll go ahead and start into our committee reports, and first being architectural.
Hi, my name is Jerry Bonner with the Architectural Committee. Last month in August, we had 47 applications, of which we approved 42. The 5 that were disapproved were mainly for incomplete plans. A lot of people forget to put some of the details in that we need. Also, at that time, we had 16 people show up as attendees, and they're a big help with us because they then can answer questions pertaining to the work that they're doing, and that way we don't have to reject them. Oh, this is June's. The one I was working on was August. You that far back on your sheets?
You think we just didn't change the date?
But anyway, I'll go from memory of what I was given out. I've lost my train of thought.
I think Jerry just didn't change the June date. I think the date is correct. I think the June.
Not to what was presented to me for August.
Okay.
So it's, well, I guess some of it is correct. But anyway, one of the things we do need are people to show up when they submit their reports. We've had some violations that we had to submit, had to send out, but mainly they were all for people not submitting their Exhibit Cs, which is the final inspection for us to go out and take a look and make sure they complied with what they said they did. And they've got so many months, 4 months from the time you turn it in to sending us an Exhibit C. Quite often people forget. And if they do not get the work done, we ask them to ask for an extension, and that way we don't have to, we can reset the clock on them. Other than that, we did, all the Exhibit Cs that were submitted were approved. I think there were more than that we did. But anyway, but the other thing, we've had one returning member and another member that I'd like the board to approve. Joanna Olson is a returning committee member, and Elton Ross was a principal at a high school and will be a great asset for us. And I asked the board to approve these 2 new members.
I make a recommendation that we approve Elton Ross and Joanne Olson as committee members on the architectural committee.
I'll second.
So moved and seconded to approve Elton Ross and Joanna Olson for the Architectural Review Committee. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thanks very much.
Hi, I'm Lori Larson. I'm chair of the Breeze editorial board. I forgot for a minute. Can you moment? We have 8 members because we kind of switched somebody new came in. Our editor's been ill, so somebody from the community volunteered to edit for us. And it's just amazing how people step up here when you're in need. I'm in awe. It's a lot of work, and people have volunteered to help us. But not only is it a lot of work, we have a lot of fun. And we're looking forward to doing some new things on the Breeze. First of all, I might as well just follow this since I wrote it out. We are, as always, looking for people who have good grammar, spelling, etc. skills. But that isn't the only thing. Most of us have that are there. We really want people who have some fun ideas to bring in. We're trying to bring more interest from homeowners into the Breeze so that you learn more about what's going on with your committees, what's going on with the people in the committees, etc., rather than just if the Breeze is a good magazine, but if it stays the same forever, it's going to get not such a good magazine. We want to keep improving it. And one of the things that we're doing is we're going to start a joke, and there will be a notice in the beginning of the Breeze so that everybody will be notified when they pick up the magazine that they will find some kind of a little article or something in there that isn't true. It's the idea of kind of like AAA magazine that has the find the copy. Anyway, when you find the joke, you can submit your name, and the one who wins the drawing, if there's more than one person, gets a gift certificate, a $15 gift certificate to Smitty's. So that's going to be kind of fun. And just be careful if somebody tells you, if you read something amazing in the Breeze, that we're all going to be given $3 million next Saturday. That might be the joke. And the one thing I wanted to bring up is that because of some things that the board has granted the editorial board, we are not officially a committee. So you can serve on the editorial board and be a committee member. You don't have to make a choice, which is kind of intriguing because people can do several things that they enjoy and be on, the board and the committee. And I think that's all. We have 2 meetings a month. We do, our planning meeting is the first Wednesday of every month, and our proofing meeting is on the 10th of every month. So come join us. I would like to be able to say to the board, I've got 10 new people I'd like to have approved. So thanks a lot.
Yeah, let's see the Community Planning and Transition Committee. Oh, I'm jumping ahead. Sorry, Martha.
I'm not
It was
even
not
gonna take 10
intentional, I
minutes today.
swear.
Hi, everyone. How's everybody doing on this nice, cool day? Awesome. I'm Martha Baumgarten. I'm the chair of the Communications Committee, and my co-chair is Sharon Bond. And I'm going to be pretty quick today, but I have some exciting things to share with you. Just for a refresher, for anybody who might not know, the primary responsibilities of our committee are the website and the 4 Seasons survey system. Last time I gave you more than you ever wanted to know about that. We are looking for 2 additional members, and we'd love to see everyone come to the recruiting fair, see what we're about. We're looking for an archivist, a historian, reporters. If you like to write, it's kind of a cool deal. So we'd love to have you join us. And this last item, we are in the final stages. You've been waiting a long time. We're in the final stages of the new website. And we are at a point in our progress where our domains are actually up for renewal, which means the timing of our change could be sooner than later. We're going to try and coordinate that here pretty soon. We are working as we go on to ensure that all the information is current and you won't miss anything essential when we make the change, and you might even find some very, very useful things that haven't been on the website to date. We will be sharing the website at the committee chairs meeting on Monday to ensure that all the committee information is current, and we also will be reaching out to the clubs and groups for them to look at their information on the website and confirm it, edit it, whatever needs to be done. You won't have to do that yourself. You'll just need to update us and let us know what needs to be changed. So if you're in one of those leadership roles with a group or a club, or of course my fellow committee chairs, we will be turning to you. And this information is your information.
the First Service Residential or the Communications Committee or whomever just updates it. They can only work with what is provided. So I think all of those people in those very important roles are going to have to play a part in keeping that up to date so that it's reliable and timely. One of our primary objectives was to streamline and update the website. You'll likely know that there's nothing really fancy about it. It looks really good, but there's nothing super fancy about it, as our emphasis has been on providing accurate and timely information and the essentials that whether you've been here 12 years, as some of our earlier speakers mentioned, or whether you're brand new to the community, you can put your fingers on things that you need, updated information, updated documents, current forms, etc., very quickly and seamlessly. So we are going to look for feedback from the community. There will be links that will be very prominent at the top of each page for about 60 days. The website users can very quickly provide feedback, suggestions. And we'd just like to mention that new websites often have pages under construction. And ours will be no exception, because we had to prioritize in order to get that critical information in there. And then we're going to build some additional very cool stuff as we go forward. So for those who are inclined to learn a little bit more about it, become a little bit more agile in your utilization of the website, whether it's sitting at your computer or working on a mobile device, your phone, what have you, we try to make it so user-friendly for mobile device users. We're going to have some sessions where you can come and learn a little bit more about the navigation, how to get around, how to download forms, how does the menu work, and also have an opportunity to say, hey, that's not really working for me. Can you do something about that? So we're looking for that kind of feedback. And finally, you're going to hear a little bit later about a proposal. The Communications Committee is going to be meeting again next week. On Wednesday, we're going to be doing some review of the website and really focusing on the website as sort of like the last push. So anybody who wishes to come to that, it's going to be at 10 a.m. next Wednesday. And we're going to be over in RCM, not exactly 100% on which room, but it will be in the AM report right now. Thank you. So that's all we have today. Thank you so much.
Okay, now community planning and transition. I don't see a representative here. Fred, did you want to speak to the facility? The facilities committee. No, EPC. Since Al Blair resigned?
Yes, he did resign, and the co-chairperson, Mike Mendoza, is taking over. We'll have a meeting this coming Tuesday, September 19th. And we're always looking for members. We're going through looking at our action plan on the various parts of the overall action plan. And so we encourage attendance.
Thank you, Fred. Okay, facilities committee?
Good afternoon. Bruce Lewis with the Facilities Committee, and we have a couple of items to review on some updates and recommendations. The first is that the UV light and automated pool system has been installed, and with that, we have a proposal recommendation to replace the door locks / panic alarms at the Summit Pool area. The ones that are currently there have been damaged by the corrosion from the chlorine labels, and we're expecting that with this new system that won't happen with the new locks. Secondly, we have a recommendation for painting of the wrought iron fencing. That will be in phases A and B. We're also looking to have a town hall meeting, which will be coordinated by management to help the residents with any questions or concerns on that. The vendor also has a website that we have put up for our residents to view. Third, we have a recommendation to convert the 2 tennis courts at the Lodge to 8 pickleball courts. We do have a bid out for the conversion of the existing shade cover from a 4-pole to a 2-pole conversion for safety and space things. We just quite haven't got the bid for that yet. It shouldn't hold up the project because the cover can be removed, and when we get the bids, we can proceed with the conversion on that. The lodge painting is almost completed around here. A few trash cans, a couple of pots to get painted, and we'll be good to go. The lodge relamping is complete. The RCN building is now currently in process. We look to get that completed shortly. Also, we have a recommendation for the repair of the 7th Circle pavers. There's a number who have become loose. They need basically to have some of them removed, recompacted with a different material, which should help with some of the erosion, and replaced. We feel that's the best thing that we can do right now, as we still have until build out a lot of heavy-duty construction traffic, on those circuits. Also, the Loggia fans out front here, we have those on order. There'll be a slightly smaller fan. They're going to move several inches over so we don't have incur the damage that we had with the doors. And lastly, I'd like to have the board would ratify Howard Lyon to be a member of our facility committee.
I make a motion we ratify Howard Lyon. He's been interviewed. Said we'll join the facilities committee.
I'll second that motion.
So moved and seconded to ratify Howard Lyon to the Facilities Committee. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, that's all for the facilities committee, unless you have any questions. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Aaron Genetti with the Finance Committee. Our finances as of July year-to-date, as you can see up there, is showing for the first time year-to-date a negative income on that line. It's actually, if you look at the monthlies over the last 3 months, May, June, and July, we started to show a negative trend. And it's not a panic attack here, please. Our finances are very good, but it's a reality check that right now, as we pick up the new courts and other common property as the builder continues to build out, we have the responsibility for the expenses for those areas and the upkeep and everything else associated with it. But we don't have the other 300 homes contributing that $210 HOA fee at this time. If you look at our finances, we have in a holding account about $1.8 million. That money is what has been our net income that we have gained over the last couple of years, and the recommendation from Finance Committee to the board is that we utilize that money, which it appropriately is assigned to offset this shortcoming. Rather than look and say, geez, we're running in the hole, should we have an increase in HOA? No, not necessarily. We really need to see how it plays out till we get to our final build out in 2019, 2020, when we have full ownership here and the money. Maybe we need an adjustment at that time. But at this moment right now, we have money that is isolated from our operational budget and our reserve budget that will be recommended to use for this shortfall in our operations. This month, we recommended the Finance Committee the 2018 budget, which is up for approval today. And also, we have reviewed the updated capital reserve study, which is also up for recommendation for the board to approve and accept that study. Our next Finance Committee meeting is the last Tuesday of the month at 1 o'clock, and we welcome you to come. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hello, everybody. I'm Linda Ruoff, co-chair of the Landscape Committee, and I'm nervous. It's my first time up here, so bear with me. We have formed a subcommittee to investigate ways to incorporate more water-saving irrigation systems into the landscape. Just want to make sure we're on the same page. Number 2, we have formed another subcommittee to look into the possible need for more benches on Trail A and B, as well as Four Seasons Circle. Artistic Maintenance will be submitting a bid to replace the landscaping around the bocce ball courts and horseshoe pit areas at the summit. And we are awaiting board approval for the O'Connell landscape proposal to replace Diane Myoporum at the Crooked Creek entrance gate. This month has been about maintenance, even though I need to carry a knife because Ray says we're not weeding. I'm sorry, but we're working on it. Our next landscape committee meeting will be Tuesday, September 19th at 1 p.m. in the RCN conference room. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. Good job.
Hi, I'm Ann Blair, acting chair of the Lodge Committee. I have a cold, so forgive me. So as Lynn said, we are still evaluating the survey for the salon. It was very interesting and gave us a lot of information. And so we're looking for ways to see how that can benefit the community. We are accepting bids for tables and chairs to go into the Bistro conference room where there's those long tables now, so that we can have more seating in there and it'll be a little more comfortable for everyone to be in there. We are looking at the kitchen for the thermometer. Currently, the kitchen is very hot, so we're looking for to test different areas in the kitchen to see where the thermostat should go so that we can keep the kitchen cool so they can have a better working condition. We're also looking at what we should do about a water softener for the dishwasher, and the walk-in refrigerator needs repair. The craft room project, which has been a long time coming, we have gotten bids for that. We're sending them to the facilities committee, and if approved there, they'll go to finance committee. And we're also going to do another survey about the 9-foot pool table that has been requested by the different billiards groups. So we're going to see if that's a true need in the community and if it's something that we should look into. We're looking forward to the membership drive because we need more members and we definitely need a new chairperson. So if anyone's interested, please come to the September 20th meeting. And we meet, the Lodge Committee meets the fourth Wednesday of the month. This month it's September 27th at 11 o'clock, and everyone's welcome to join us. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Sherry Howard with the Rules and Rec Committee, and we are still in need of one more member, and we will be at the committee fair on the 20th, so if anybody is interested, I do invite you to come by. We've been working on the rules for RV parking and the court sauna. And with that, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm Anita Worthing with the Safety Committee Chair, and co-chair is Donna Lewis. We have proposals in for our crosswalks, hoping to get that approved. And we'll have our AED training on the 21st of September at 11:30. 11. We have some flyers, and please sign up for the training. The spa rules and regulations with the saunas. There are people here who who are allowing their young children to go into this spa. It's just not safe for young children because their skin is basically thinner, their blood is thinner, and they can really be hurt. So use caution when you let children go in. And the rules are changing so that the children are restricted from going into the spa, children under the age of 18, because we do not want to have any accidents here. So, for restricted parking on Jim Creek, some homeowners had some situations and they were asking for us to do that. And so we have a proposal in for that. At this point, I would like for Donna Lewis and Jeff Wilson to come up because they have really, I went over this really quickly, but we have worked since January to get our crosswalks in. So Donna has done phenomenal work. Jeff Wilson has been working there with us, and he has kept us on track because he's always fussing at us. How come it's not done? How come it's not done? And sometimes that's what you need for the push. So I really would like you to give them a big hand because they So we have proposals, and do I put the number in now or later? We have a proposal for the crosswalks of $26,500. We do that now or later? Later. Okay. At this point, I also would like to have Mike Corbett approved for the safety committee.
I'd like to make a motion to approve Mike Corbett to the safety committee.
I'll second that. Moved and seconded to appoint Mike Corbett to the safety committee. All in favor?
Aye.
And I would also like Mike to stand simply because he has been the driving force for our AED. So he has moved from neighborhood watch to facilities, to safety, to emergency preparedness, but he has been really motivated and got us motivated to get some AEDs. And so we will have the training. The training will be actually done by Amy White's husband. He's an EMT certified trainer. But thank you so much, Mike, for all of that. The room signage is done with the exception of we're still working on the summit and the courts. The 911 phones they're out for bids, and Amy is working on that as well as the curb alterations. And at this point, that's our report.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Marion Heron, and for many sins, I am the Social Committee co-chair. Treasurer, we really need to thank the board for allowing us the opportunity to roll over Mary Primark. She has done an outstanding job. The Social Committee cannot thank her enough for all that she has done, for the support that she has given us, but she's had enough of us. She's got too many other things to do, family issues, etc. So we bid her a fond farewell with many thanks. However, at last we have found a committee member, Pepsi Powers, ready and willing to take over this important role. I always think it's really amazing how amenable people can be after a few glasses of white wine. But seriously, guys, Pepsi has had many, many years of banking experience, and she'll be a great asset in this role. The fashion show. Thanks to all the ladies and gentlemen who brought their smiles and thankfully for us their patience while we were selling the tickets for the fashion show. The new system appeared to work fairly well, and we sold over 200 tickets within 45 minutes. So Ticketmaster, eat your heart out. I am certain our lovely models from Four Seasons are ready to give any New York catwalk a real run for their money. We are using Dressbarn as our sponsor. They provide petites, ladies, and curvy women's clothing. So get ready for a really fun day. Our New Year's Eve events. This is always another sellout event, so here I am again. Please be patient, please be kind, please bring your smiles when the tickets do go on sale. We've got a tasting set up with our caterer next week, so we hope to have a really good menu. And yes, we do listen. We did take on board the comments from last year, even with the sort of corner gone, which was going to be a big focal point for us. We do hope we can have 2 sets of serving tables. Hopefully this will reduce the time that you have to stand in line waiting for Ivana the taster, what will be a meal full with chocolate. Okay, we also have Tony, our fabulous DJ. He will come along, and I'm hoping, because the glow sticks went down really well last year, that they'll go down really well this year. Who knew? That's all it took to make people happy. Our theme this year will be Hollywood, Glitz and Glam. I'm not going to give you any more information on that, but please watch out for the posters and the flyers. Assistance with our survey. We hope to have the lovely and resourceful Martha Bogarten to assist us with individual event surveys. Our event coordinator, which is also Pepsi, is working out dates to enable us to discuss Martha's many new and innovative ideas. Now I'm going to leave social committee and come completely off topic here. For those many people who approached me in the lodge regarding the name of the new royal baby, I have no input here. However, I was home earlier this year, and when I had tea with the Queen, her vote is Alice for the girl and Arthur for the boy. Thank you. Our next committee meeting is on Thursday, October the 5th at 5 p.m. Please come and join us. Thanks.
Have tea with the Queen too. Alrighty, thank you. Cindy is going to talk about a literacy drive at the California Highway Patrol. Okay. In that case, Sandy William has a CHP, which is the Highway Patrol right down the lane. Darren Myers is the Public Information Officer. They are having...
Keep going.
Okay. They're having a children's literacy book drive, and they're requesting Four Seasons to participate in that. And basically, they will collect the books, and we have talked to the librarian, and she wants to take them in the library. Okay. I'm not sure. I thought.
Don't worry, you're good.
Okay.
Right, guys? Sure. Okay.
I'm good. Okay. All right. So this is something a lot of you know, teachers, and a lot of you actually have grandkids. You have kids, or you know kids, or you want to go to the dollar store or at the thrift shop. There, if you tell them that you're doing a project, they will give you like 10 books for $1. So it's unfortunate that a lot of children are not exposed to books, real good books, and that the teachers have to buy them. So something that the Highway Patrol, Darren Myers, is really adamant about is helping in education. So when you see this flyer out here, Children's Literacy Drive, just know that it would be any contacts, let me know, or the librarian or Cindy. I had a conversation with someone at the City of Beaumont. There's a lot going on around in the emails about Beaumont cease and desist on the securities and bonds. That was only for the prior city manager and his company, not for Beaumont. Beaumont is in good shape. I talked to the city manager and he's willing to come out and talk to us and allay some of the fears that people might have that we are going under. The Chamber of Commerce has a lot of these books if you want to know where to go, what to do in Beaumont. They'll be in the library. We'll have some of those for you. Also, Darren, Officer Myers, has, with the help of Lou Ortega, agreed to have a driving course here. We will talk more about it because we do need to get approval with the board. Since we have so much going on with speeding, we have so much going on with people not adhering to yield to those people in the roundabouts, some things are happening on the bridge. We thought it would be very good to have a refresher course on driving. So we'll let you know more about that. And that's all she wrote today. No, it's not all she wrote today. Not all she wrote. The book drive starts tomorrow. And also, a question was asked about our AED training. Just to go back to that, it's open to everybody. So sign up. The sign-up sheet is there at the lodge desk. So it's everybody that's, we're encouraging everyone. We'll have more than one training. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Yes.
I make a motion to accept the facility use application from Catherine Sloan.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded to approve the facility use application by Catherine Sloan. All in favor?
Aye.
Carries.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is our activities director report.
Okay then. Sheriff Department bringing one?
No, we will do it.
We won't do it? Okay, so look for the box. Probably after tomorrow then, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so as most of you saw when you came in, there's a nice big poster out in the front lobby. And it is talking about the POW MIA Remembrance Procession, which we started actually last year. There's going to be another one. It's Friday, that's tomorrow. And basically what's going on is veterans and veteran supporters from our HOA, as well as Motorcycle Club and the 4x4 guys, whoever can come, are going to participate in a remembrance procession to the Hillside Cemetery in Redlands to recognize the sacrifice of World War II POWs and MIAs. There are 26 grave markers aligned among the Veterans Memorial Lane, recognizing these heroes that were lost 75 years ago in the jungles, remote mountains, or under oceans. And they were all from Redlands area. So if anybody would like to come, and that means any veteran supporter, you are welcome to bring your vehicles over in Four Seasons Circle. They're starting to assemble at 8:30. And at 0900, they will be taking off on the procession for the Redlands Cemetery. And it's a beautiful service that they do. And everyone there would be not only touched, but would be welcome to be part of that honoring that's going to be happening. The travel time is about 45 minutes, depending on how many trains you hit on the way. With them going through. But it's a beautiful thing. If you're interested in going, let me know, let Len know, or let your club president, if you're in the 4x4s or if you're in the motorcycle club, let them know that you're coming so that they can be expecting you and wait for you if you come. But anyway, a special time for tomorrow for remembering. And also wanted to let you know that in case you didn't know, the last Sunday in September has been deemed Gold Star Family Day. And Gold Star Family means that if you or a neighbor has lost a child, a son or daughter in military service, that is the day to recognize them. So if you so feel led, take them a little bouquet of flowers or give them a big hug on that day. That's a special day. Now to events. All right, Jerry was really good about encouraging everybody to come to the Wednesday, September 20th. Pizza Fun and Committee Drive. All of you guys, because you're all sitting here, know that you have awesome gifts and talents. Some are comedians like Marion. Some are great computer whizzes like Martha. Some are great with their editorials. Bottom line is you guys all have something really awesome to be able to benefit the community with. And I'll tell you, our community, especially as we're growing, can definitely use your gifts and talents. So come on down on that day, grab a piece of pizza, see if there is some kind of fit for you. If you have a neighbor that you think would be really super great at doing some time and having the community benefit from their stuff, send them on down. We would love to see them. There's going to be some neat displays and neat discussions. And, there's been a lot of specialness, shall we say, in the committees over the last years. But I have to tell you, the reason that we're number one community here, and actually it's 15. We're number one in the area. How about that?
Number one in California.
In California. Thank you, Martha. She's a statistician person. We're number one, you guys, and the reason is because you guys are the cream of the crop that move in here. And you guys are the ones that dedicate your expertise and your opinions and your hard work. And honestly, when you look around, and I know, and Tad knows, wherever Tad is, who looks over all of the different associations around here, we absolutely take the cake when it comes to people who are willing to give back. And that's why our Performing Arts Department is the best. That's why we have so many groups that are outstanding. It is the people. If you hear whiners, you know what my saying is. My saying is that 98% of the people in here are way above average and totally outstanding. And the 2% that are big whiners are the black velvet upon which the diamonds lie. So there. So be empowered and get your kahoonies over here and think about it. All right, so there you go. Next, a real announcement. The Craft Boutique is Saturday, October 7th. From 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. You know that's always packed, it's always fun, it's great. 90% of the stuff is going to be handmade, super unique, you'll never find it anywhere else. So cruise on in and get the best gifts for your loved ones you ever could find. The last garage sale of 2017 is Saturday, October 14th. If you want to have a garage sale at your home, come on up to the lodge desk and sign up for just $7, which includes your city permit and outside advertising. And the last day to sign up is Sunday, October 8th. Make sure you remember that because Nellie has to have a whole week to, by hand, develop that map. It's really time consuming. And as most of you know, there are 100 airs made during every one of these garage sales. So don't miss out on your chance to possibly become one. 100 air. Yes. Okay. And then club and class events, karaoke is going to be in the ballroom this month at 5:30. That would be on Saturday. And, oh my gosh, you guys, you don't have anything better to do on Sunday than go to the amphitheater grand finale. Because I am here to tell you, if you ever liked Fleetwood Mac and you never got a chance to see them live in concert, you will swear, even if you're not a swearer, you will swear you are watching them in concert. These guys are like body doubles. I am so not kidding. Total body doubles and total vocal doubles. And they just were playing, is it Morongo that they were playing? What was it? Paula. $30 a ticket. And you guys are walking in on this cake, okay? So enjoy it while you have it. You're going to totally love it. And then finally, I'm kind of windy today, could you tell? The Performing Arts Department, this kind of wind, yeah. They are going to be doing the WFSB live radio show on Saturday, September 23rd at 6 p.m., dinner theater style. You're going to love it. Old-timey radio, live, here in the ballroom, free, and everybody's welcome. So there you go.
Management report in the board's information packet on pages 64 to 118 is the management updates and activity log. Hit it. All right, here's our report card. We started. Here's our report card. For the month of August, we started with 234 issues. Making sure the numbers are right. Okay, we added an additional 172 items for a total of 406 items being tracked. We completed 188 of those, leaving 218 open. Out of the 406 issues, we responded to those 370 of those issues within 2 hours. I think that's pretty amazing statistics. And then within 48 hours, we completed 101 of them. All right. Did the board have any questions regarding any of the items in the packet? I did have a couple of questions from some of the couple of the residents. One is the procedures for use of lockers in the workout rooms. The informal policy has been that if you come in and leave items in the lockers, if you go to have lunch and then you return for an afternoon event, you could leave your items in the lockers. At the courts, I know that there was confusion because we thought it was if you leave the facility, you need to take your items with you. So we just need clarification from the board on what is the correct policy.
The correct policy is if you leave the facility, you take your items with you.
All right. Thank you very much for that clarification. I think I'll put that in one of my manager's updates so everybody has the same understanding.
Is it possible to post that?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right, next, the next request was, there was one person that requested additional hours at the front gate, that we keep an attendant at the front gate longer.
As a board, we don't respond to individual requests, so if that person wants to rally some others and get something that's more substantial, then we'll look at that request at the time.
And those were the only questions that I had at this point. So we will move on to new business, since there's no unfinished business. The first item on the agenda is on page 167 under new business. And a couple meetings ago, the board authorized us to send out the proposed amendments for the RV parking rules as well as the theater rules. Homeowners had more than 30 days to comment. I provided you the response and the comments to the amendments. I think we should separate the two, one being the theater rule and one being the parking rule. On the parking rule, I received 70 responses. It's pretty small considering, the size of our community. With that, 51 agreed to the proposed rules, 9 disagreed, and 10 either provided no response or their response was unclear. I would recommend that the board postpone approval of it. The Rules and Regs Committee did receive further information from the RV Club that might be helpful to providing a more clear and understandable parking policy. I just need the board to agree that we're going to postpone the
Sounds good,
decision.
Yeah.
All right. The next rule was the theater rule. And I received a total of 70 responses. 53 agreed with the rule, 0 disagreed, and 17 received or either did not respond or provided an unclear response. So this is where the board would approve the rule.
I make a motion that we adopt the theater rule.
I second.
It's been moved and
Can I
seconded.
make a comment?
Discussion?
Can I make a comment?
You know?
I'd like to add maybe a 14th on that if possible, that something states seating is first come, first served, and that there is no seat that belongs to a specific resident.
If you want to make an adjustment, then we need to send it out for 30-day adjustment. You may want to do that. We do have some additional proposed rules coming up for board consideration next month. You may want to add that at that time as well, unless you want to postpone the approval on this one as well. It's up to you guys.
I made the motion to approve the theater rule amendment as it is. I'm not interested in postponing.
Okay.
Second.
Moved and seconded to adopt the theater rule amendment listed. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, next item on the agenda is on page 177, and this is to review and act upon the committee editorial board configuration. This is a recommendation from the Communications Committee.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the Communication Committee and the editorial board group be separated and report separately at the board meetings from this point forward.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the separation of the Communications Committee and the Breeze Editorial Board. Before we vote, let me point out one thing. As Lori mentioned earlier, the Editorial Board is not a committee, and as such does not fall under the committee rules per se. They have a function to provide a service for a contract that we have, and as such, the continuity that they and the work they have to do has to be done on time in order to get an editorial a Breeze out to us by the first of the month, which they're getting pretty good at. And so we have separated them from the committees, although we'd still like you to report as a committee at our meeting. So all in favor of the proposal?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Next item on the agenda is on page 178 through 182. This is a proposal from the Community Planning and Transition Committee to install additional wiring within the ballroom, in the pillars, and also in the ceiling to accommodate additional items or electrical items and audio equipment. The total cost would be $3,998.26.
I make a motion that we go ahead and approve the request from the CB&T committee to install the electrical wiring as presented.
I second.
It's been moved and seconded to install electric outlets in the ballroom pillars. Hopefully we can get it done before the truss is repaired.
The truss has been repaired. We're waiting to install the beams.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
The next item on the agenda is on page 183 to 187, and this is a proposal from the Facilities Committee to replace the Panic hardware at the Summit Pool area. The total cost is $13,564.24.
I make a motion that we approve the replacement of panic hardware at the Summit Pool area for the cost stated.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded to approve the proposal to install operating, working panic hardware at the Summit Hardware. All in favor?
Aye.
Next item on the agenda is on pages 188 to 198. This is a proposal from the Facilities Committee to convert the current lodge tennis courts to 8 pickleball courts. Total cost is $17,300.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the conversion of the tennis courts into pickleball courts.
I'd like
Will be the cost stated.
I'd like to second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the restriping and reconfiguration of the tennis courts into pickleball configuration. Is there any interest in that? All in favor?
Aye. Guys,
Get our game on.
All right, next item on our agenda is on pages 199 to 233. This is a proposal from the Facilities Committee to paint the wrought iron fencing in phases A and B. This is a reserve expense, and the total cost would be $68,500.
I'd like to make a motion, we approve painting the wrought iron fences in phases A and B of the residential area.
I'll second
Cost
it.
stated.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the painting of the wrought iron fences in phases A and B. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
That was a lot of pages. Okay, next item on the agenda is on page 234. This is a recommendation from the Finance Committee to approve the 2018 reserve study.
I'd like to make a motion that we accept the 2018 financial year reserve study.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the reserve study. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, next item on the agenda is on pages 235 through 262. This is a recommendation from the Finance Committee to approve the 2018 calendar year-end budget, along with the supporting documentation, the annual budget policy, and disclosure statements. I did include a copy of the packet in for your review. I circled the way we answered the questions last year. I did not see any recommendations for changing. And the dues will, the assessments remain the same for both the master budget, Fine Arts Cost Center, and Springdale.
I apologize, I make a motion that we accept the budget as presented by the Finance Committee for 2018.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the annual budget proposed by the Finance Committee for 2018. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is on pages 263 and 264. It's a proposal from the Landscape Committee to replace the Maya Forum outside the Crooked Creek entrance gate and replace it with some decorative rock for a total cost of $4,947.
I make a motion that we approve the landscape committee's request to remove the Maya Forum and cap off the irrigation system and do the other work related to the Crooked Creek Gate area.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the landscape proposal to remove the Maya Forum at the Crooked Creek entrance gate and replace it with desert gold rock. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, next item on the agenda is a proposal from the Safety Committee. The proposal is to, that's on pages 265 to 272. The proposal is to purchase a total of 6 AED machines, 4 to be placed outside of the courts, pool, and tennis court areas. Also 1 at the lodge paddle tennis and amphitheater area. 1 at the lodge outdoor bathroom facility next to the new pickleball courts and basketball area. 2 indoor AEDs, 1 for the inside of the courts and 1 for the lodge ballroom. We will also be purchasing cabinets to place the AED machines in. Just as a note, I have already purchased 1 for inside the courts. I wanted to make sure we did have a device for use. So we're actually purchasing 5 at this time.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the purchase of the AED machines for the areas previously mentioned in the amount of $11,500.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded to approve the purchase of 6 AED machines for $11,500. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, next proposal is from the Safety Committee, pages 273 to 284. The proposal is, gotta catch up to my pages. Okay, the proposal is to install crosswalks. Let's see, we've got to install 12-inch crosswalk lines in 5 locations. The map is included in the packet. 4 solar manual activation LED pedestrian crossing signs at Rim Trail, White Sands, Rim Trail and White Sands, Green Creek Trail at Four Seasons Circle, and 2 stop signs and 2 prepare to stop signs at Slippery Rock Creek, and 4 stop for pedestrian signs, 2 at Brush Creek and Pear Creek, and 2 on Green Creek Trail where Trail C crosses. Total cost of the project would be $26,500.
I'd like to make a motion to approve a total of $26,500 for the completion of the crosswalk system previously mentioned.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the Safety Committee recommendation for crosswalks and stop signs. I have a question. Earlier today, we were talking about 4 stop signs at Slippery Rock Creek, and the recommendation is 2 stop signs and 2 prepare to stop signs. So I'm curious as whether we want 4 or we want 2.
There's already stop signs at Slippery Rock and Trout Run, so we would be adding the 2 that would be on Four Seasons Circle. That would stop Four Seasons Circle.
Okay, because Slippery Rock is just on one side and Trout Run is on the other.
Yeah.
Okay. Question?
Are these actual street stop signs, and are they allowed to put actual street signs?
Yes.
Without permission from the city?
There's stop signs on Four Seasons.
We can, the Safety Committee did speak with the City of Beaumont, and they gave permission. They said that they are private streets, and we could put in signs as needed.
So it means the cars stop and,
Yeah, they just want to.
Just stop.
They just want to.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next proposal on the agenda is pages 285. We aim to please.
85.
Pages 285 to 290 is a proposal from the Safety Committee to repair the Summit Rotary pavers in the amount of $6,300.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the expenditure of $6,300 for the pavers at the Summit traffic area, repair those.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve removing and replacing bad pavers at the Summit Rotary for $6,300. All in favor?
Aye.
I'd like to point out that eventually we're going to have to do the entire circle, but until Cahove completes the one section up there behind the model homes, we're going to have a lot of truck traffic up there, which really destroys those pavers. So we're going to hold off and just do spot replacement until such time as that's done. Carry.
Next proposal on the agenda is on page 291. This is from the Safety Committee to install no parking signs along Jim Creek from Four Seasons Circle to Quiet Creek.
I'd like to postpone this one because Jim Creek, for those of you who are not familiar with it, if you go down Four Seasons Circle and you go past Slippery Rock, which was the original model homes, you'll see Tabor Creek and Jim Creek on the left. Jim Creek is a very short street. It has approximately 14 parking places on there. If you have one of the Monarchs that fronts on Four Seasons Circle, you have no parking in front of your house because you can't park on Four Seasons Circle. So the people closer to Jim Creek, a guest or an extra car will park on Jim Creek. Between Four Seasons Circle and Quiet Creek, there is an alleyway that comes through. The alleyways were put in because the people in the Monarchs have access to their garage through the alley. When we were first here, all the alleys had street signs on them, and the fire department asked us to take them off. Some we did, some we didn't. Their rationale was they don't want people calling and saying, I'm on alley such and such, because they don't want to take their big fire trucks or emergency vehicles into alleys and get trapped, or by other people trying to get in and out, by everything else. So they will come to your front door. Now, there are homeowners that drive through the alley because that's where their cars are parked. And when they come up to Jim Creek, their visibility is somewhat limited. So I would like the safety committee to go back and review, maybe painting a red 10-foot stripe on with the four sides there as you come out the alley. If no car is parked there, you'll still have plenty of visibility and you'll still save 10 parking places. So I would like to send this back to the committee for study.
Okay. Next proposal on the agenda is the National Night Out event presented by Neighborhood Watch. That was the one I passed out earlier that has no
Not
date
the
on it.
sidewalk trip.
Sorry, not the sidewalk trip.
No, not yet.
Okay, sorry. I'd like to make a motion that we move forward with the National Night Out for Neighborhood Watch.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve National Night Out because they've already passed out the flyers and we've already got a speech given on it, announcing it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, the next, actually, it's not on the agenda. This is the sidewalk repairs. It's considered a safety concern, and there's 46 areas in Phase C that do need to be corrected. The cost for the correction is $1,377.75. I recommend you approve it as it is a safety concern.
All right, as a safety concern, I'd like to make a motion to repair the 46 potential hazards within Phase C community area in the amount of $1,377.75.
Moved and seconded to approve maintaining properly the sidewalks in the Phase C area, A, B, and C for $1,377. All in favor?
Aye.
Carries.
Okay, next item on the agenda is on pages 293 and 294. With the newly opened courts area, there's a couple of areas that do look like they require trash receptacles. We obtained proposals for trash receptacles that would match our existing trash receptacles. Total cost is $1,955.13.
I make a motion that we approve the court's trash receptacles at a cost of $1,955.13.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve purchase of the trash receptacles for the courts for $1,955. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
And the last item on the agenda is on page 295 from our activities director for approval of the 2017 Veterans Day event at a total cost of $950.
I make a motion that we approve the 2017 Veterans Day event for $950.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded to approve the proposal for the Veterans Day activities for $950. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, with no further business to come before the board, our next meeting is Thursday, October 12th, 2017 at 1 p.m. here in the ballroom.
Thank you, everybody.